Welcome, everyone. Today, we're going to explore some of the most valuable coins in the United States, the top 3 Susan B. Anthony dollar coins. In this video, we'll look at their current market values, rare minting errors, and special conditions that make certain Susan B. Anthony dollars stand out. We'll also talk about the rare silver-like finishes and unique color shades that have become major highlights in the coin collecting and investing world. These rare treasures aren't just pieces of American history. They're also some of the most sought-after coins among collectors today. So, if you're a coin enthusiast or someone who appreciates the beauty and significance of U.S. currency, this video is definitely for you. Moneybag, let's get started with our first rare Susan B. Anthony dollar coin. The year 1979 marked a turning point in American numismatic history when the U.S. Mint unveiled the Susan B. Anthony dollar, a coin unlike any other before it. Named in honor of the legendary women's rights advocate, this dollar carried both symbolism and innovation. The 1979 D and 1979 P Mint mark coins from this series have since taken on a near-mythical reputation among collectors. Though at first they circulated widely and were misunderstood by the public, their value today, especially in rare, uncirculated, or error forms, has risen to extraordinary heights. These coins are not just metallic discs, they are pieces of America's cultural and economic transformation. The story of the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar begins in an era of change. The late 1970s were a time when the United States sought to modernize its currency, and the Treasury envisioned a smaller, more practical dollar coin to replace the bulky Eisenhower dollar. In its place emerged a new design, compact, silver-toned, and etched with the face of a woman who had spent her life fighting for equality. The coin bore Susan B. Anthony's determined gaze, strong, bold, and unyielding, a reflection of the same spirit that had fueled her fight for women's suffrage nearly a century earlier. Minted at Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, these coins initially seemed ordinary. Millions were struck, their copper-nickel composition gleaming with a silvery luster. Yet beneath that metal lies an untold mystique. The 1979 coins with the P and D mint marks became vessels of history, symbols of progress, gender equality, and economic experimentation. The plan was simple: create a coin that could function like paper money but last longer. But what resulted was far more than an object of convenience. It became an artifact of transformation. The coin's design carried deep meaning. The obverse, featuring Anthony's portrait designed by Frank Gasparo, was both dignified and revolutionary. She was the first real woman, not an allegorical figure, ever to appear on circulating U.S. currency. The reverse, with the majestic Apollo 11 moon landing design from the Eisenhower dollar, connected America's past struggles for equality with its triumphs in space. Together, the design spoke of humanity's progress, from earthly battles to celestial victories. However, the coin's introduction wasn't met with immediate enthusiasm. Many Americans confused the Susan B. Anthony dollar with a quarter due to its size and color, leading to its withdrawal from wide circulation. What was initially seen as a failure soon turned into fascination. Over time, collectors began to recognize the deeper story behind the coin. Its short production span, combined with certain varieties, errors, and mint condition pieces, elevated its market value far beyond its face worth. In particular, the 1979 D and 1979 P mint mark coins have become the crown jewels of this short-lived series. Some were struck with a distinctive wide rim or near-date variety, making them highly sought after. Others, minted under slightly off-center dies or with striking variations in metal composition, became true numismatic treasures. The rarity of these special coins, coupled with the growing appreciation for Susan B. Anthony's legacy, has turned once ordinary pocket change into potential fortunes. The coin's composition adds another layer to its intrigue. Although not made of silver, its appearance has a silvery gleam that often confuses collectors and casual observers alike. Yet, within that copper-nickel alloy lies a story richer than pure metal could convey, a story of equality, innovation, and historical significance. For some collectors, rumors of experimental strikes or limited silver compositions have driven values skyward, with certain specimens fetching prices that defy imagination. Today, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar stands as one of the most iconic modern classics of American coinage. The D and P mint marks in particular hold symbolic meaning, one representing the power of the industrial heartland, the other the birthplace of America's minting tradition. Together, they form a numismatic bridge between past and future, between the era of silver dollars and the dawn of modern coinage. Those who possess one of these coins, especially in mint state or with an error variant, may not realize the treasure they hold. While its face value reads $1, the reality in today's collector market can reach into thousands, even tens of thousands, depending on condition and rarity. A perfect specimen can transform from forgotten pocket change into a life-changing asset. Truly, this coin carries the potential to turn ordinary fortune into extraordinary wealth overnight. But the true value of the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar lies beyond price. It represents progress, a tangible tribute to a woman who changed history and to a nation that dared to honor her. Each coin carries a whisper of her courage, a reflection of her vision, and the enduring legacy of equality and justice. Its existence is proof that money can carry meaning, and meaning can create magic. In the vast universe of U.S. coins, few blend symbolism, rarity, and story quite like the 1979 D and 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollars. They are more than collectibles, they are cultural relics. The gleam of their surface is not just metallic shine, it is the glint of history itself, preserved forever in copper and nickel. If you ever find one of these coins, hold it close and remember what it stands for. Do not spend it casually, for its worth cannot be measured by mere dollars. It holds the power to change your fortune, not only in wealth but in understanding. In that small circle of metal lies the enduring spirit of equality, resilience, and the American dream itself. Next up, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar coin, bearing both the D and P mint marks, stands as one of the most intriguing pieces in the story of American coinage, a chapter that blends ambition, symbolism, and unexpected rarity. Born during a time when the U.S. Mint sought to modernize its currency and honor one of the most powerful voices in American history, this coin carries a legacy much greater than its face value. The 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar was never just another coin. It was a bold experiment, a piece of history molded in copper-nickel but destined to shimmer like silver in the hands of collectors who saw beyond its humble design. The design itself tells a story of determination. On the obverse, the fierce yet dignified profile of Susan B. Anthony, the pioneer of women's rights and suffrage, is captured with proud realism. The sharp lines of her face, the strength in her eyes, and the symbolic stars circling her image evoke a century of struggle and triumph. It was the first time a real, non-mythological woman was placed on circulating U.S. coinage, breaking barriers that had stood since the founding of the nation. The D mint mark, forged in Denver, and the P from Philadelphia, gave these coins their origin stories, marking them as part of a bold nationwide issue that carried the spirit of equality itself. Yet, what makes the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar truly valuable today is not merely its silver-like appearance but the history of its creation and the mysteries that surround certain rare varieties. Some versions were struck with unusual planchets, creating coins that appear to gleam like pure silver. Others were the result of precise minting errors, double strikes, off-center impressions, or misaligned dies, transforming ordinary circulation pieces into treasures worth small fortunes. Among collectors, these anomalies ignite fierce excitement. A perfect specimen with sharp luster, untouched by circulation, can command prices in the thousands, and for unique error coins, even more. The journey of the Susan B. Anthony dollar began in 1979, but by 1980, public perception had already turned this coin into a numismatic mystery. Many people confused it with the quarter due to its size and color, leading to widespread rejection. Banks stored millions of them in vaults, and for years, they barely circulated. But time, as it always does, reshaped its destiny. What was once dismissed as an unwanted coin now gleams with historical significance, a collectible that embodies both America's social evolution and its coinage innovation. Collectors today see the 1980 D and P mint mark Anthony dollars not just as coins, but as keys to a forgotten era of transition. Each carries traces of an industrial America on the edge of the digital age, when precision machinery and artistry collided to craft metallic beauty. The Denver Mint was known for its meticulous strikes, while Philadelphia produced vast quantities, giving rise to minute variations that now fascinate experts. A small difference in die polish or rim thickness can mean the difference between a common coin and one worth a fortune. Beyond its technical allure, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar represents a cultural shift. It is a coin that celebrates equality and independence, an everyday reminder of how far America had come in recognizing the role of women in shaping its ideals. It also symbolizes the challenges of change, How even noble ideas face rejection before being embraced by history. The irony of the coin's initial failure only amplifies its modern value. Something once overlooked now stands as a beacon for those who can see the hidden potential in what others discard. The silver-like composition of the coin, though actually a copper-nickel blend, has fueled myths of true silver Anthony dollars existing in the wild. Some collectors even claim that early test strikes and experimental planchets may contain traces of silver, giving rise to tales of a lost silver Anthony dollar. While these stories remain largely unverified, they've given the coin an aura of mystery that has made it irresistible in the collector's market. In today's numismatic world, the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar can indeed be a life-changing discovery. Certain proof versions, coins in pristine mint state condition, or those struck with rare die varieties have fetched staggering prices in auctions. A flawless coin, graded by top certification bodies, can sell for thousands, a dramatic leap from its humble $1 face value. For those lucky enough to uncover one in their collection, the thrill is not just in its monetary worth but in holding a tangible piece of American progress and perseverance. What makes this coin even more fascinating is how it bridges two eras, the classic age of silver coinage and the modern world of precision minting. Its design reflects the clean geometry of late 20th century coin art, yet its symbolism echoes the moral clarity of the 19th century. It is both industrial and intimate, both machine-forged and humanly inspired, a paradox in metal form. Over the decades, the Susan B. Anthony dollar has gone from an overlooked currency to a cherished relic of American identity. Its value has surged as collectors realize how few pristine examples survived untouched. Those bearing the P mint mark, representing the birthplace of America's coinage, and the D mark, symbolizing the West's industrious might, together form a pair that encapsulates the unity of a nation built on innovation and equality. Today, if you hold an uncirculated 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar, especially one with an unusual sheen or mint error, you may very well be holding a small fortune in your hand. Its worth goes beyond gold or silver. It lies in the story it tells and the courage it represents. Like Susan B. Anthony herself, it stood against the odds, endured rejection, and emerged with timeless dignity. So, never underestimate the power of this coin. In a market where stories sell as much as metal, the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar with the D mint mark is more than just a coin. It is a story of change, controversy, and hidden fortune buried beneath layers of American history. Minted at the Denver Mint, this small yet mighty coin was the first U.S. dollar to feature a real historical woman, Susan B. Anthony, a fierce advocate for women's rights and equality. It was born out of a desire to modernize the U.S. currency system, but what few people realized at the time was that this coin, in certain forms, would one day carry an allure worth far more than its modest face value. In 1979, the United States Mint introduced the Susan B. Anthony dollar as a replacement for the large Eisenhower dollar, aiming for a coin that was easier to carry and use. Yet, the public rejected it. It was too similar in size and color to the quarter, causing confusion in every transaction. What once seemed like a failure slowly became a hidden gem in American coinage history. Over the years, collectors and historians would rediscover its charm, and the Denver Mint coins, marked with the proud D, would rise in fame, especially those that survived in perfect, untouched condition. The story of the 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollar isn't just about design and minting, it's about survival and rarity. Millions were made, but very few exist today in flawless mint condition, with sharp strikes and unblemished luster. These are the coins that make collectors' hearts race. Some versions, struck with slight die variations, doubling errors, or unique finishes, have sold for thousands of dollars in auctions, defying the original intention of being a practical dollar coin. The coin's composition itself adds a layer of mystery. While officially made from copper-nickel-clad material, there are persistent whispers and legends among collectors of experimental silver strikes, coins accidentally or intentionally made with leftover silver planchets from previous series. Such rare specimens, if ever authenticated, could be worth millions, turning ordinary holders into overnight millionaires. Whether myth or reality, this legend has fueled the fire of fascination for decades. The portrait of Susan B. Anthony on the obverse is a statement of power, a woman who fought relentlessly for justice, immortalized in metal. Her gaze is firm, unwavering, symbolizing the strength of equality and courage in an era where her voice was revolutionary. Around her are the 13 stars, representing the original colonies, binding the coin's design to the roots of American independence. On the reverse, the soaring eagle landing on the moon pays tribute to America's space triumph, a vision of ambition meeting destiny. What makes the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar truly valuable today is not only its condition but also its symbolism. It stands at the crossroads of tradition and progress, old values and modern ideals. When collectors see this coin, they see more than metal, they see a spark of the American spirit. It represents the struggle for recognition, the courage to innovate, and the persistence of those who refuse to be forgotten. Over time, the coin became a sleeper treasure. In the early years, it circulated heavily, often tossed aside or forgotten in drawers. But decades later, coin experts began to realize how few of these remained in pristine, mint-state condition. The finest examples, those graded MS-68 or higher, now fetch astonishing prices, as the demand for this small piece of history surges among serious numismatists and investors alike. There are stories of people finding 1979 D. Anthony dollars in old jars, inherited coin collections, or forgotten change rolls, only to discover their staggering value. The transformation from a common dollar to a life-changing fortune is what makes this coin a modern legend. It's not just about silver or shine, it's about the rarity of perfection and the hidden luck of discovery. Collectors cherish the Denver Mint coins for their sharper details and consistent quality compared to others. The D. Mint mark beneath Susan B. Anthony's shoulder stands as a signature of craftsmanship, linking the coin to the heart of America's coin-making tradition. Every faint scratch, every preserved luster, tells a story of its journey through history, from the mint presses to the hands of dreamers. Even today, the Susan B. Anthony dollar has a cult following. It serves as a symbol of America's willingness to experiment, to honor pioneers, and to leave behind tangible reminders of progress. It may not have achieved mass popularity during its circulation, but in the collector's world, it reigns as a misunderstood masterpiece, a coin that failed in commerce but triumphed in legacy. If you hold the 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar, don't underestimate its potential. Look closely. The coin you see might hold the rare brilliance of a unique strike, a die error, or an untouched mint condition that places it among the elite. Its true worth could easily reach into the thousands or more, depending on its rarity and grade. More than money, it's a bridge between the past and future, between ordinary and extraordinary. So keep that coin safe, because within that small circle of metal lies more than just copper and nickel. It carries a century of American ambition, equality, and destiny. The 1979 D. Susan B. Anthony dollar is proof that greatness sometimes hides in plain sight, waiting patiently in the palm of your hand to change your fortune forever. Thank you so much for watching this video.